When you put an extra $100 a month towards your mortgage, you're not going to shave off that much time. Maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years max. If you want to pay your mortgage off in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to need a better strategy. And that strategy is the mortgage-free life strategy. So in this video, I'm going to teach you a creative approach to personal finance that will not only allow you to pay your mortgage off early, but also create a tax-free retirement income. Now for this video, I just want to talk about paying down the mortgage early, but if you want to see part 2, you can find that pinned below. The first thing I want to do before going into the actual specifics of how this program works is go over who it's for, who it's not for, because that makes or breaks this entire strategy. So this strategy is specifically for, as you can see on the screen here, the savings-driven family. Put fam there. So if you're a family that's already financially disciplined, you guys already save money every single month, or an individual for that matter. I'm going to refer to it as family for the rest of the video. If you guys are already saving money, you're already financially disciplined, and you want to pay off your mortgage early, you're going to excel at this program. If you don't, and if you're a spending-driven family, and this could be for one of two reasons. Number one, you could just be financially undisciplined right now, and I'm not judging you if that's you. Or number two, you could just be in a season of spending. Because everything is based off the ratio requirement, which I'm going to talk about. But if you're in a season of spending or you're financially undisciplined and you don't have a lot of money left over at the end of the month, this is not the program for you. Additionally, this is not the program for you if you're someone that just doesn't want to pay their mortgage off early. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you fall into the camp of, yes, I want to pay my mortgage off early. However, if you don't want to pay it off early, if you're, 2.5% interest rate and you think, you know what, I'm just going to take the rest, go invest it. Hey, that's fine. I'm not advising you one way or the other. I'm just showing those of you guys that want to pay off your mortgage early how to do it as fast and as efficient as possible. So, the 3 requirements to the program. If you saw my 2024 video, it was 10% minimum equity. That has since changed to 15% minimum equity. And that's not 15%. So you don't have to have more equity than the actual mortgage itself. That's something that people get confused with. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But it's 15 to 25% as a general rule of thumb right now. So if your house is worth $100,000, you got to have $85,000 or less on the mortgage. Now, credit, this one is pretty straightforward and simple, 700 or above for the best terms. And then the Mac Daddy of them all, which is what I call the ratio requirement. And all this is savings. You got to save at least 25% of your current monthly income. That's a rule of thumb. Are there going to be exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. Sometimes you need a little bit less, sometimes you need a lot more. That's why we run your numbers, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. So if you earn 10 grand a month, you spend 7,500 a month. That means you're saving $2,500 a month. That would meet the rule of thumb 25% ratio requirement. My favorite thing about this program is how scalable it actually is. See, you could be someone that earns a ton of money, or you could just be someone that earns, for example, $7,000 a month, as we can see here. It doesn't matter how much you earn, it matters how much you save at the end of the month. So you could be $7,000 a month of income, take home. You could be $25,000 a month of take home income. Doesn't matter. If you are saving every single month, that's how you excel at this program. The first thing I want to do before going into the specifics is talk about your current mortgage and how that works. So your mortgage is front loaded with interest. So let's say that this red line right here represents a $2,000 a month mortgage payment. Now, you're going to have a monthly payment of $2,000 a month, and that's going to be split up between principal and interest. In the beginning, the first 10 or 15 years of the loan, you're going to pay the majority of that interest to the bank. So it's not evenly split throughout the entire mortgage. And if you have a current mortgage with 28, 29 years left, you probably see every single month the majority of the payment is actually going towards interest. So that's why we say mortgages are front loaded with interest. On top of that, a mortgage is a one-way street. Money can only flow into your mortgage. Once it's in there, it is now locked up in the equity of the home. And there's only 3 ways to get it out. Cash out refi, sell the home, or a home equity line of credit, which is similar to the mortgage-free loan. We're going to go over that in just a second. Now, to understand the mortgage-free loan, it's very simple. You just have to understand two rules. The first rule is the flow of money, okay? Flow of money. So this is an open-ended line of credit. Money can flow in. Let's get some light on there. Money can flow in and money can flow out. And what that means is you can safely take 100% of your income and put it into this loan, and you can safely put in 5% of your income into this loan. You could put in as much as you want, or you could put in as little as you want, and you could pull out that same amount. You know that it's liquid because it's an open-ended line of credit. Money can flow in and money can flow out rule, right? That's the first rule of the mortgage-free loan. Open-ended, money can flow, pretty straightforward. Now, the most important part, really, in my opinion, or arguably the most important part, is how it calculates interest. Bailey. So it calculates interest based off of the average daily balance. And so what the bank is going to do is they're going to take all of these fluctuating balances throughout the month, and they're going to calculate the average. They're going to take that average, apply it against your interest rate, and that is going to be how much interest that you owe. So you only owe interest, on what you owe inside of the mortgage-free loan. Okay, so if you had a $100,000 balance, it would get the average of that $100,000 balance. If you had a $0 balance, it would get the average of 0, which is 0. So once we understand how it calculates interest, number one, but number two, how money flows in and out, then the question becomes, how do I keep my balance as low as possible for as many days as possible so I pay as little interest as possible? And that's where we talk about properly using the mortgage-free loan. What you want to do with the mortgage-free loan is you want to drive all of your income in as fast as possible. So let's say you get paid on the first of the month. You want to drive all your income in, which creates the lowest balance possible for as many days as possible, and then have your expenses go out at the end of the month, which is going to bump up that balance. Now, if we are being honest and we're talking about what you already do, you're probably putting things on a credit card. So we recommend you don't change financial habits with this program, but put everything on a credit card if you can throughout the month. Why? Because we want to keep this balance as low as possible for as many days as possible. Then we pay off that credit card in full every single month back to a $0 balance. It pops up the line of credit. We're going to visualize that just here in a second. And then it's calculating the average off of low, 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 and then a few days of high. Now that is the optimal way to use it. So to help you understand this, I want to walk you through the Sean Shea whiteboard overview. Sean Shea is the architect, engineer, and co-owner of Mortgage Free Life. He came up with this strategy, and so shout out to Sean if you're watching this. First thing I want to do is show you what your current financial situation, flow of money probably looks like right now. So when you get paid, I'm assuming that money flows in, hits your bank account, and then your expenses flow out. So this is going to be your mortgage, this is going to be cars, this is going to be kids, this is going to be fund money, variable expenses. This is literally everything. Every single thing that flows through your bank account, we are accounting for when we're talking about the numbers with this. Now, the rest of the money that you don't spend, so let's say you had 10 grand a month of income with $5,000 a month of expenses, that $5,000 that you don't save, it's going to collect in here. Let's call that 5K. So maybe that's month 1, month 2, another 5K, month 3, another 5K. I think you get the picture. Now, when we use the mortgage-free loan, what we're doing is we are completely replacing your mortgage. Now, there's another way to do this, but just to understand the concept, we're going to talk about using a first lien mortgage-free loan. So we're going to completely pay off your mortgage. You no longer have a mortgage. That thing is gone. Bank pays them off. That balance is now sitting inside of the mortgage-free loan. So let's say you had, a $300,000 mortgage. We'll just do this right here of mortgage. That's now paid off. That balance went into the mortgage-free loan. So you have a $300,000 balance, okay? all we're doing here is changing up the flow of money. So when you get this $10,000, it's going to come in, hit your bank account, and then immediately go down into the mortgage-free loan. So we're going to press down oops, that was the eraser. We're going to press down $10,000. All right, so this balance is now at $290. And as you can see from this, we're driving in all income. That's creating the lowest balance possible for as many days as possible, so we pay as little interest as possible. Now at the end of the month, we got to pay for those expenses. So let's say we're putting that $5K on the credit card. Well, those expenses come up and out, right? Except we don't have the mortgage anymore. And now let's just say it's the same $5,000 just to help understand the concept. And now it's going to have $295,000 left. So we went down $10,000, we went up $5,000. The remaining $5,000 of surplus, that is going to sit inside of the mortgage-free loan, paying down the principal amount because it's an interest-only loan, right? So it's going to pay down the principal amount. It's as simple as that. That's how it works. You drive all income in, you pay your expenses out of it, the leftover pays down the principal. And this is why it's so important that you have a monthly savings of at least 25%, because if you don't, the strategy is probably not going to work for you. Now, we could always run your numbers, but minimum rule of thumb, got to be a savings-driven individual, or got to be savings-driven family, 25% for, usually the best results to get in between that 5 to 10 year range, okay? All right, so now let's take a look at the numbers. I'm going to show you how we generate what's called a payoff report. If you want more information about that, just look down below. Now, all we do is we enter in some basic information. Value of your home, the current balance on your mortgage, your interest rate, the years remaining on the debt, your mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, how much you net take home every single month, and then your estimated monthly expenses. Could also put in liquid savings, and then we can also put in an emergency reserve, and we'll look at the interest rates on the lines of credit as well. Now, we hit next. The calculator automatically it does all the math for us. It automatically tells us instantly how fast you can pay off the home, how much interest you're going to save, and how much tax-free retirement income that we can generate. Again, I'm going to talk about the retirement aspect in another video, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. And then from there, we hit download payoff report, and we go back over here, and we actually get something that looks like this. I believe these numbers are a little bit different from the previous ones that I had run, but you get something, meaning the inputs were different, but you get something like this. So it's going to show you your debt payoff, interest savings, retirement income, it breaks down all the numbers, and then we're going to see a comparison right here. And as we can see, let's look. I think this is 104 months total, but let's just pick month 96, for example. In month 96, if you were to compare the two strategies, with your mortgage, you'd have $497,000 left. You would have paid $275,000 in interest. With your mortgage-free loan, you'd have $72,000 left. You would have paid the majority of the interest, $295,000. And you'd pretty much almost be paid off completely. Only really a few more months until you're completely paid off. So that is the beauty. Now let's look at the scalability of this program and put in some different inputs. All right, so let's look at a different example. I'm going to show you a balance of not $250,000, but let's just call it $195,000. The value of the home, we'll call that $300,000. Interest rate, 3%, 27 years left. Mortgage payment might be a little high. Let's call that $1,200 a month. Net income of $7,000 a month with monthly expenses of $4,000 a month, $10,000 in savings. If we look at the math here, you'll pay off in 6.92 years and save $10,000 in interest. The retirement income will be different. Again, talk about that in another video. So that's the power of this program. Very scalable program. Doesn't matter how much you make, it matters how much you save. So if you want to get a payoff report like this where we plug your numbers in and show you exactly how much time you can save, how long it's going to take to pay off, how much interest you can save, and how much tax-free retirement income you can generate, you can find information below on how to book a time to meet with me, and we will go over a payoff report for you. I look forward to meeting with you hopefully soon. As always, have a great day. Thank you for watching. And by the way, if you made it this far, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.